Everyone thinks they're a good thinker, just like everyone thinks they're a good driver. But let's be honest, if that were true, the world would be a much smoother place. Fewer people would be stuck solving the same problems year after year. More people would be moving forward instead of going in mental circles. So what's going wrong? The truth is, most of us don't suffer from a lack of intelligence. We suffer from a lack of clarity. And that's exactly where Marcus Aurelius comes in. Marcus Aurelius wasn't just some emperor who got lucky with a shiny title. He was called the last of the 5 good emperors, and the philosopher king of Rome for a reason. The guy didn't just lead an empire, he led his own mind. And that right there is where real power begins. He didn't have podcasts, therapists, or productivity apps. What he had was clarity. He trained himself to think clearly, and he did it through a process that you and I can still use today. Let's start with the basics. Clear thinking means thinking that's unambiguous and logical. It's the kind of thought that captures the essence of something and lays it out so simply that a child, or a philosopher emperor, could understand it. A good test for clarity? Try expressing your thought as an if-then statement. If I turn on the tap, then I'll get water. Simple. Straightforward. No fluff. This kind of clarity does something powerful. It leads to intentional action. That's not just thinking for the sake of sounding smart. It's thinking that leads to doing. If you're thirsty, the clear thought leads to a clear action. Turn on the tap. No second guessing. No spiraling. Just action. And here's where it gets even better. Clear action leads to clear feedback. You find out immediately whether your thought was right or wrong. Does water come out of the tap? Yes? Great! Your thought was correct. No? Time to refine your thinking. Either way, you're now operating with more understanding than you had before. That's how you grow. Now zoom out a bit. Apply that same logic to your life. The more clearly you think, the more accurately you act. The more accurately you act, the faster you get feedback. The faster you get feedback, the quicker you grow. This feedback loop, think, act, reflect, is how real progress happens. And most people never enter it because their thoughts are just too vague. This is where Marcus Aurelius shines. He didn't leave clarity to chance. He built it through repetition and structure. In his private journal, what we now call meditations, he took his swirling thoughts and nailed them down with calm logic. He reflected on his actions, examined their consequences, and turned that reflection into personal philosophy. That wasn't just therapeutic journaling, it was mental training. If you want to think clearly like Marcus Aurelius, start by doing what he did. Organize your thoughts. Don't just let them float around in your head like a swarm of bees. Write them down. Simplify them. Challenge them. Turn them into if-then statements. When you do this, you force your brain to clarify what it really means, what it really wants, and what it's actually going to do about it. Here's an example. If I want to stop procrastinating, then I need to reduce distractions. Clear, actionable, testable. You take the action, get feedback, and then evaluate. Did reducing distractions help? If yes, great, do more of that. If not, you've just learned something valuable about what doesn't work. Either way, you're not stuck. You're progressing. Now let's be real. Thinking clearly won't solve every problem overnight. Marcus Aurelius had all the same human struggles we do. Grief, stress, uncertainty. But his clarity gave him the ability to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. And that, over time, made him not just a great emperor, but a master of himself. Thinking clearly is not about overthinking. It's not about obsessing over every possible outcome. It's about stripping your thoughts down to what's essential, logical, and testable. The less mental clutter you have, the easier it becomes to make good decisions and solve real problems. So, here's the takeaway. Clear logic leads to clear thoughts. Clear thoughts lead to intentional action. Intentional action leads to clear feedback. Clear feedback improves your understanding of the world. And a better understanding leads to better problem solving. This is the path Marcus Aurelius walked, and you can walk it too. All it takes is a little discipline, a bit of reflection, and a willingness to simplify your thoughts instead of getting lost in them. Think clearly. Act intentionally. Reflect often. That's how you rule your mind, like a philosopher king. If you found this video meaningful and interesting, drop a comment below and share your experience. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might find this content useful. And as always, thank you for listening. and we'll see you next time.